Hello everyone, this is Juan Sarmiento, and this is a tutorial for the stock hacker of the thinkorswim platform. I already told you about implied volatility. In a list such as the S&P 500, 500 stocks to look at. Even with implied volatility selection here, there is simply too many stocks to look at. There has to be a better way, and there is. Simply click here on the Scan tab and look for the stock hacker. And you can see that there is a series of filters that you can use in order to select stocks on any list. Suppose I select the S&P 500 as a list to look into. Go to the public and select S&P 500. Even if you don't do anything else, you have too many stocks to look at. Okay? So let's start by deleting all this and enter one scan at a time. The first thing we need to do is add filter stock. All right, here I want to select last. That's the last price. I'm going to select a specific price. You see the range here. I'm going to say 15 because I don't want to trade anything below that price. Just my particularity. You can choose whatever you like. I happen to think that cover calls below 15 wouldn't be too good a strategy, but that could change. On the upside, we already established that we have a $100,000 account on an IRA account and $50,000 on a margin account. So that means that I could enter 10 trades, which maximum stock price is $100. But because of the call that you're selling, potentially you could reduce that price from 105 to 100 and still be valid a trade. So I could say 105 as my maximum price. And then you can see that it reduced my number from 500 to 233. But that's not good enough. 233 is still too many stocks. Let's enter a few filters here in order to reduce my potential number of candidates. Let's start with, of course, the implied volatility. So add filters and say study. I want you to enter here custom, and under custom select thinkorswim script, and here you're going to enter, delete what is there and enter the following: implied underscore volatility is greater than 0.4. Okay, that's 40% implied volatility. That's all you need, and that is the equivalent to having that in our watch list. Okay, let's see how much. Now, just doing that, we have 62. Let's add another filter, go to custom, and enter the thinkorswim editor and enter the following formula: average, parenthesis, quote, data equals volume, comma, length. And the length is 90 days. So we need to put this on quotes, by the way. And that should be equal to 90. Close parenthesis is greater than 1 million. Or 6 zeros. That's all. That's all we needed to say okay. And that shouldn't change much. Again, we have showing 50 of 62. Let's see how many. Okay, that reduced by 2. Okay, that means all the stocks in the S&P 500 are pretty liquid. Let's do corporate actions. You know that options around earnings tend to be quite volatile. Once the earnings come out, the volatility declines. Let's add another filter and once again study, but this time we're going to look for corporate actions and earnings. And that immediately creates what we want. We want to be no earnings announcements next little while. So I'm going to say it does not have earnings announcements anytime in the next 20 days. Scan that. And now we have reduced it to 44. Still too many. Well, there is one more thing, and that is the chart of the IV percentile. You know that some stocks have very high volatility, some others low, but relative to its own performance during the year, is it high or low? Well, for that we need a study. Add filter, study, And here, look for volatility, and over here it should say IV percentile. And here we want it to be more than 40% within the chart. It's not the volatility itself, it's the volatility percentile. Is it high or low relative to the volatility of that stock over time? So I'm gonna say 40. And the maximum, well, I don't mind how high it is, so let's put 200, 150, let's say. This is weird, to say the least. 100 usually is the maximum, but once in a while you may get IV percentile well above the range. And then you say scan, and now we ended up with 17. A very manageable list. You can go through them very quickly. Unfortunately, here when you see it in the scan, it's not very easy to look at the chart. So how do I select that? Well, the best thing to do is to transfer this hacker into the watch list. So let's save it. Save scan query as, and now we are going to say S&P 500 for cover calls. Save that. And what if we did this instead of the S&P 500 on the NASDAQ 100? Let's say that's just your preference. Well, come over here, look for the NASDAQ 100 and scan again. There's no matching. But I'm going to save it anyway. Save scan query to NASDAQ 100 for the cover calls. Save that. And now we can go to our watch list here. And instead of loading the S&P 500, we can load our what becomes now a personal hacker here, S&P 500 for cover call, and we have the NASDAQ 100 for cover call. For the NASDAQ, there is nothing, but for the S&P 500, there is. Good. And here they are. Now, I'd like to see the chart of each one of these things. For that, it's very important that you set this little icon to, let's say, yellow. It could be any color, it doesn't matter, but as long as you know, I like the yellow color, so here it is. On the chart, you can just simply select the yellow as well. And now I can go through the entire list one at a time and see each one of these candidates to see which one fits my needs. That's all for today. Thank you very much for joining me, and see you next time. Bye-bye.